Real estate in America is changing. The face of commercial and retail real estate is changing in this country. I'm driving around a mall in my area that this piece here used to be a Sears with a Sears Automotive. They went out of business when Sears closed down. This was well before the pandemic. This is May of 2020. We are still in the midst of the pandemic. And this mall is, it's a great piece of property in our town. It was a thriving mall, and it really started changing and dying off well before we experienced the coronavirus or any of those issues. So, you know, this world is changing. The retail landscape is changing. The office sector is changing. So the question is, what is going to become of properties like this? This mall was already in default. They had already started missing payments before we went into lockdown and before the economy was shut down. Most of the stores had already closed and pulled out, and this center was or is owned by Simon Properties, one of the largest mall owners in the country, and they'd already downgraded the property and were preparing to give it back to the lender. So you have a property like this, you know, it's probably 20 acres, something like that. So what do you do? What do you do with a shopping mall that you can't reopen, that's sitting on a prime piece of property in the middle of a town that is very highly sought after real estate? We have vacancy in retail, we have vacancy in office, we have too much storage, we have too many multifamily units as it is in this town, we have too many hotels. So what do you do with a piece of property like this? What would you turn it into? So this property is more valuable redeveloped as some sort of a mixed-use residential. There certainly is not going to be a need for any more commercial. There are shopping centers right up the street and in each direction that are brand new, that are going to have, one of them is going to have a hotel, the other one already has a couple of hotels. It's got plenty of retail. Retail is already sitting vacant in several of the shopping centers within a 1 and 3 mile radius. But there's housing shortage in the area. There are not enough units to fill the demand. So this could be a great space to build some townhouse condos, multifamily, as well as single family residential all around it, which is what this property is surrounded by on all sides when you start getting back off the main road. So in this particular case, the highest and best use would probably be a very nice mixed use residential property, residential product where you've got a mix of residential, condo, townhouse, single family, things like that. So this will be a great property to follow. It'll be a lot of fun to do something with. I don't see repurposing the existing building. It would just be too obsolete, too expensive. Doesn't lay out well unless, you know, I'm in Charlottesville, Virginia, so we have the University of Virginia. So unless the university were to buy it and turn it into some sort of a satellite campus, that could potentially make some sense. But even that would kind of feel a little bit awkward, you know, but it could turn into some sort of an educational institution of some sorts. So it's interesting times right now. It'll be really interesting to see what happens to a lot of these office buildings, shopping malls, big retail centers that, you know, end up not being able to survive this time. We don't know what the fall and winter is going to look like. We don't even know what next year is going to look like. Nobody knows the real effects of all of this on the economy or on real estate. All we can do is just kind of watch and learn and take it in. We have no precedence for these times and for what we're going through. And it's very, very unique times in the history of the world. People's behaviors will fundamentally be changed. The real estate markets will fundamentally be changed, but there are segments that are doing well. Multifamily is doing well, self-storage is doing well, mobile home parks are doing well, minus the ones that are unfortunately unemployed and are not able to get unemployment insurance and pay their rent. There still is there still are a lot of people struggling in that area, in that arena, but for now, hopefully we will get to the other side of this soon. I know we will. I just don't know how soon it's going to be. Vaccine, treatment, get everybody back to work, get everything reopened, and you know, we'll just have to shift and see where things end up down the road in terms of the real estate market and the retail and office sectors, and you know, how many employees actually go back to work in these offices, how many companies go to remote work permanently like Twitter's doing for anybody who wants to. You know, all the tech companies, obviously they can operate remotely. Their workforce can work from home. So interesting times ahead. We'll just have to see what happens and keep our eyes on things. And hopefully, like I said, we'll get to the other side of all this soon.